All bad shots, such as slicing, hooking, chunking, shanking, and sculling, are caused by the same problem: the application of wrist torque against the shaft of the club. The different outcomes are due to the different moments in the swing that torque is applied to the club and the way the body attempts to compensate prior to impact. So what is wrist torque and why is it so bad? Simply put, wrist torque is a force put on the club that is not in line with the shaft. When this happens, the golf club begins to rotate around its center of mass instead of at your wrist joints. When your brain senses this distortion through the club, it immediately tries to make compensations to get the club head to strike the ball and send it to the target. As soon as you apply wrist torque to the club, the rest of your swing is in a state of distortion. Your swing is now a compensation. Unfortunately, the more you practice your compensations, the more they become neuromuscular habit. Most golfers get good at being inefficient. Most golfers tend to master their compensation that results from wrist torque, and they end up with a typical pattern of very poor shots. So where does wrist torque come from? Generally, it comes from squeezing the club with the muscles in the hands and the fingers. When golfers try to force the swing to happen, the most common muscles to fire are those in the hands and the wrists, creating the unwanted torque. Once you add torque to the club, it immediately starts working like a lever as the axis of rotation shifts to the center of mass of the golf club. Once this happens, it's highly unlikely you will hit a decent shot unless you perfectly match up with a compensation move. But the compensation will never be as powerful or as efficient as your true potential swing could be. Here's probably the most common issue we see in golfers that usually leads to a slice pattern. At the beginning of the forward swing, the golfer squeezes the club handle with the fingers and wrist muscles. As soon as this happens, the club head starts to rotate around its center of mass and the handle begins to push back against the golfer's hands. As the golfer senses this, he then begins to push back against the handle, which reverses the direction of the club head around its center of mass, leading to an open club face. In a sound golf swing, none of this action is present whatsoever. In a sound golf swing, the wrists actually relax as the body begins the forward swing. The only forces that are going to the club head are in line with the shaft. This keeps the entire length of the club rotating around the wrist joint and allows for the golfer to learn how to align the natural acceleration that the club head will produce. This is why we call it a golf swing and not a golf hit. The simplest solution is to start using the Pro, a patented swing training system that reveals exactly when you tend to apply wrist torque and gives you a means for learning the actual feel of applying the correct forces that help you develop an efficient swing. The Pro reveals an angle at the grip and the rope anytime you put torque on the club. As you learn to keep the grip and rope and cylinder in line, you are now training the correct feel of a powerful and efficient swing.